you doing tonight? Let's hope the internet doesn't go down to Fenland Falls or might be in trouble because it'll be half my audience. Maybe all my audience, I don't know. It's Fred Eaglesmith night. So what better song to open with than a good old Fred Eaglesmith song? There were 17 cars out in my backyard. The boys in blue were calling my name. Semi-automatics up on the rooftop. They just wanted to talk to me. I told them what they wanted to hear. The only thing that I knew, 49 tons of diesel locomotive couldn't drag me back to you. Everywhere you look, there's a train wreck, baby. Everywhere you look, there's a runaway train. Play my heart like a bottleneck, baby, running up and down and pulling its strings. Everywhere you go, everybody knows you're looking for someone to do. 49 tons of diesel locomotive couldn't drag me back to you. If I was a switchman, if I was a brakeman, if I was an engineer, I'd point that train on down the track and I'd clear on out of here. If I was a man swinging the lantern, I'd swing it until it was blue. 49 tons of diesel locomotive couldn't drag me back to you. 49 tons of diesel locomotive, 49 tons of diesel locomotive, 49 tons of diesel locomotive couldn't drag me back to you. Live from my basement, it's Fred night on Tuesday Live. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday Live, April 5th, 2022. Here we are, over 2 years later. We're still going at this every Tuesday night. And unfortunately, the pandemic's still kind of going on after us, too, out there. So be safe. Hope everybody's been safe and staying healthy. I'm glad to see everybody here tonight. I see folks there. I see David, the ever-observant David in Fenland Falls, pointing out a lot of things on the on the set here. And certainly appreciate that. We do have a Fred Eaglesmith box set back there, the original box set from Fred Eaglesmith of cassette tapes. And And I do have my Fred Eaglesmith shirt on as well. I just want to say hello to everybody who's out there. I see some of the folks checking in, Kathy and Dwight up in Fenland Falls, and I mentioned David Ward as well, and I see Stan and maybe Susie out in Long Sault, our photographer. We're going to have some more Stan on the show a little later. Danny up in the Bruce, I see checking in as well. Lee down in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I know there's lots of folks as well that watch on YouTube that maybe don't jump up from the couch and try to figure out how they're going to put a comment on their TV. Like Pat Ricky Bobby and Smoking Hot down there in South North Carolina, and I think there's some other folks down there. My friend Peter, I'm not sure where he's watching from. He sometimes watches from Tennessee, but I'm not sure where he's watching from this week. But tonight we're celebrating the music of Fred Eaglesmith, and that's kind of exciting. I'm going to tell you a story because I've sort of there's a fellow in the audience here who knows my first Fred Eaglesmith encounter because he was involved with it. David Ward, my good buddy, quite a few years ago. I don't know if David, you remember I don't know if you remember what day that was or what year that was that we first saw Fred. But David and I were working together at the time, and David said to me once, he said, yes, I saw that this fellow Fred Eaglesmith was playing up in St. Jacobs. He saw a poster for it somewhere. And he'd heard that, Fred Eaglesmith, he was a pretty good musician and or at least had put on a good show. And I didn't know anything about him. I never really heard about him. So we bought some tickets and we went up to St. Jacobs. Folks from this area, I know we've got a few folks from St. Jacobs in the area here. We've got Kathy and Steve up in Elmira and Steve and Kathy in St. Jacobs. Sometimes watching as well. But over in St. Jacobs, they have a lovely little venue there called the Schoolhouse Theater. And it basically is just an old one-room schoolhouse in town that's been converted into a theater, just an open space. And so we went there, and it was probably seats maybe, 75, 100, perhaps, on in a fairly small space. And we get there, and there's no PA system. Fred's playing a little bit under duress without a PA system, which is quite interesting. You don't see that very often, certainly not in modern times where a musician gets on stage without a PA system. And he had the full band there. The original band, I think, was playing at that time. Certainly Fred. And what was his bass player? That guy originally, David, you help me there. You help me out there. The fellow, his name, I can't remember now. I should write these things down, have notes so I know exactly what I'm talking about rather than just freewheeling it here. But Willie P. Bennett, famous sideman to Fred. Ralph Shipper, his bass player, he used to play like an acoustic, Guild acoustic bass, which was very cool. Like it was like a regular guitar, like an acoustic guitar, but with 4 strings, a bass string. But they played, and it was a fantastic concert because everybody had to be fairly quiet, so you could hear them without any amplification. But it was a great concert, and since that time, been back to see Fred many times in various venues. I've seen him in St. Jacobs quite a bit because he always came there on a fairly regular basis. And if you've seen Fred, or if you haven't seen him, he does tend to play smaller venues. He's a really hard-working independent musician. Fred's really resisted doing anything that would cause him to get caught up in the whole commercial side of music, at least where he's working for somebody else. He's always been very fiercely independent, traveling around with the band in a bus and on the road. He used to play, I'm not sure, obviously with COVID, playing a lot fewer dates than he used to, but he used to play like 300 plus gigs a year all across North America. So he's very popular down in parts of the U.S. and also in Europe. He's quite popular in Holland because he's of Dutch origin, I believe, and the U.K. as well. And I think he's even played in Australia as well, which is quite interesting. But he's a very productive musician. Certainly, has created a lot of recordings, and I'm a little partial to his earlier material because it's a little bit more acoustic, which is what I'm interested in. And he started out playing a lot of sort of bluegrassy style music, which I have always enjoyed. And of course, that's when I really kind of discovered Fred early on in his career. So I think with some musicians, we tend to, attach ourselves perhaps more to the music we first heard than some of their later material, which is much to the chagrin of musicians who want to keep evolving and creating new content as well. But got quite involved, got quite into Fred's music, and as you'll hear tonight, if you're not familiar with his music, very sort of down-to-earth themes, lots of great storytelling. And Fred is a great storyteller as well. I certainly urge you, if you have a chance, to go see him live. If you've never seen him live, check him out. He's touring now, mostly just with his wife, Tiff Jin, as a duo. He's sort of down. He has played with different band formats over the years. But check him out if you can. Check out his music. I mean, it streams a lot of places, but you can also go to fredeaglesmith.com. Check out some of his music as well if what you hear tonight you enjoy. I did have a brush with Fred Eaglesmith, I guess. Well, I mean, he's very approachable at concerts. Often we've chatted with him many times after events as well. He always comes out to the merchandise tables and signs anything you want to sign, or has a chat with you if you'd like. But I got involved in a project probably in the early 90s. There were a group of musicians who really appreciated and were influenced by Fred's music. And certainly I was influenced by Fred's music. Fred sort of made me realize that, a guy from southwestern Ontario could, write songs and make music and have some success with it. And although I've never achieved the success Fred Eaglesmith has, I've certainly attempted it, and it's given me the confidence to do it. But Fred, there were a group of musicians that decided to do a CD of Fred Eaglesmith songs. And I got involved. It was through a group on the internet I connected with, and my old bandmate, David Duke, joined me. And well, we actually played one of Fred's songs. And our friend Steve, who sometimes watches the show, I'm not sure if Steve's out there tonight, he's a recording engineer over in St. Jacobs. And Steve recorded it for us, and we sent it in, and we were on the very first kind of Fred Eaglesmith tribute CD back in the early 90s. And that same year, when that CD came out, there was Fred hosts, which he did for a long time. I'm not sure if he still does, but Fred hosted an annual picnic, which was kind of like a weekend music festival. And this particular year, it was at Hay Creek Conservation Area down in southwestern Ontario, down near Port Dover, where Fred has hung his hat for many years, I believe. And we got to play on the stage there at the Fred Eaglesmith picnic, which was kind of fun as well. So that's my kind of Fred Eaglesmith story. I've certainly followed him through his career. And, Fred, well, certainly not a mainstream musician, he's done quite well for himself, and he's also had a lot of his songs that he's written recorded by bigger artists, particularly bigger country artists have recorded his song. Miranda Lambert, I think, has recorded one of his songs, and a few other folks as well. So check that out too. But anyways, let's enough talking about Fred. Let's get into. If you have any Fred Eaglesmith stories you'd like to share, throw them in the comments. I'll pass them on to the crowd here. But thanks again for being here tonight. Really appreciate folks coming up for the show. Our 106th episode. Hard to believe we're still going. I still have trouble believing people still show up every Tuesday to watch me do my little thing down in the basement, but I certainly still enjoy it, and I certainly appreciate you being here. I should say hi to Mom, too. I can't forget when I name people to remember to say hi to Mom, too. And I'm not sure anyone else come and checked in here. I haven't checked. But anyways, I will while we're listening to Willie over in the Beatles tribute room do a Fred tune for us. Hey, Willie. Hey y'all, good to see you again. It's Willie here over in the Beatles tribute room. I'm going to play in some tunes for this Fred Eaglesmith tribute show we're doing here. And I didn't know much about Fred Eaglesmith till I came up to Canada, although I guess he's toured all over North America. I never saw him when I was back home in South Carolina, but boy, his music's real good. I really like his music, and I've been playing a lot of it on the show, I think, too, over the past couple of years we've been doing this, and I know he'd fit in real good down in South Carolina. I know folks down there would certainly like his music as well. So I'm going to do one. I don't think I've done it here before. I'm not sure if anyone's done it on the show before, but it's called the White Rose Filling Station, or at least called the White Rose anyways. And I guess there used to be a long time ago here in Canada, there used to be White Rose filling stations around. I guess they were some kind of Canadian refinery company or something like that. And they had gas stations around, filling stations called the White Rose, but they're all long gone now. I was out driving over catching a ride with Rob there. We were going over by Guelph, and back behind Guelph there's one of them back roads. There's some fellas got one up in by his garage, but that's the only time I've ever seen one. So I don't know if anyone remembers the old White Rose filling station, but let us know if you remember gassing up there. Maybe you've been around long enough to remember filling up the old White Rose. But anyways, here's a song about the White Rose. Kind of sad, but you know, these things happen. They come and go, don't they? Well, the whole town came out to watch the day they paved the parking lot. Somebody held a ribbon up and then they cut it down. And that big white rose up on that sign was the innocence in all our lives. And you could see its neon light from half a mile out. And gas was 50 cents a gallon, and they put it in for you. They check your oil and pump your tires and wash your windows too. And we'd shine our cars as bright and go park underneath those lights. Stare out at the prairie sky, there was nothing else to do. Now there's plywood for glass, where the windows all got smashed. And there's just a chunk of concrete, where the old pumps used to stand. There's a couple of cars half out of the ground, and an old oil sign still spins round and round. And I guess the White Rose filling station's just a memory now. Well, the girls would spend a couple of bucks just to meet the boys working at the pumps. And they grow up and fell in love and they all move away. And strangers used to stop and check how far they'd driven off the map. And then they built that overpass, now they stay out on the highway. And there's plywood for glass, where the windows all got smashed. And there's just a chunk of concrete, where the old pumps used to stand. There's a couple of cars half out of the ground, and that old oil sign spins around and round. And I guess the White Rose filling station's just a memory now. And that neon sign was the heart and soul of this old one-horse town. And it's like it's lost its will to live the day they shut it down. 'Cause there's plywood for glass, where the windows all got smashed. And there's just a chunk of concrete, where the old pumps used to stand. There's a couple of cars half out of the ground, and that old oil sign spins around and round. But I guess the White Rose filling station's just a memory now. Yeah, I guess that White Rose filling station's just a memory.
Did you know that the sound from a musician on a stage bounces off the walls and ceiling of an auditorium to surround the audience, but the sound from a pigeon on stage does not? Oh, it doesn't? Why not? Because acoustics.
See, I was getting me a bag of cheesies at the corner store the other day when I overheard a fella say, "That's a recipe for disaster."
Why?
Well, I thought to myself,
How does some fella way up here in Canada know about my ex-girlfriend Wanda's meatloaf?
Well, thank you for that, Willie. Nice job. Excuse me with that song. Excuse me, a little dry down here in the rec room tonight. Excuse me, itch in my throat. Sorry, coughing into the mic there. Should be wearing a mask. But thanks for that comment, Kathy, about Dwight saying, actually, that he remembers a White Rose Station on Kipling Avenue in West Toronto. He used to climb up on the roof. Excuse me. I remember, I'm not sure, but there was a time back when that's what kids did. We climbed up on the roofs of things. I don't know if that was just a period we had. Excuse me while I grab a drink of water here. But this is live internet, people. But we used to climb up on the roof of our school. Back in Long Sault Public School, I remember that, Stan. When there was a snow day, excuse me, we'd climb up the roof. It's a fairly low roof. And jump into the deep snow drifts outside the school. Kind of fun. Hey, Mark, good to see you tonight. And I loved hearing my first... Oh, she's going to become a Fredhead. Nice. And Dad, Waxy's here too. Nice to see you, Waxy. And Emily. Yeah, we went... Oh, yeah, we went to that... we went to the Hay Creek. Took the kids to the Hay Creek concert, which was interesting because Fred has a diverse audience. Not diverse ethnically, I don't think, but certainly diverse age-wise and a lot of rural folks. As Fred used to joke, most of his audience members were old guys who wanted to talk about old tractors and stuff. But anyways, here's a song. I don't know if this is politically correct or not, but Fred wrote this song. It became a big hit. Another artist performed it and became a big hit and a bit of an anthem among the lesbian community. And Fred said at first he wasn't sure about writing a song that had sort of become a lesbian hit because he was, fella from rural Ontario, but he said when that first royalty check came in, he started writing lesbian hit after lesbian song. Anyways, I don't think I told that as good as Fred does, but it's called I'm Wilder Than Her. Well, I'm wilder than her. What else can I say? I guess that's why she fell in love with me. But she's a house on fire. She's got all those charms. And I'm a house on fire too, but I got fire alarms. And I'm wilder than her, drives her out of her mind. I guess she thought that she was one of a kind. But she's a summer storm, I'm a hurricane. One just blows through town, one blows the town away. And I'm wilder. We go driving in her car, racing through the night. She can drive as fast as me, but she stops at all the lights. She says it's 'cause I'm crazy. Well, she's probably right, but I think that the reason is that I'm twice as wild. Because I'm wilder than her, drives her out of her mind. I guess she thought she was just one of a kind. But she's a summer storm, and I'm a hurricane. One just blows through town, one blows the town away. And I'm wilder than her. She takes my hand, she looks looks me in the eye, I see something that I've never seen in my life. She takes the fire and turns it down low. She takes the night and makes it not so cold. She takes the distance and breaks it into miles. She makes my life a little less wild, because I'm wilder than her. Drives her out of her mind. I guess she thought that she was just one of a kind, but she's a summer storm, I'm a hurricane. One just blows through town, one blows the town away, and I'm wilder than her. That's wilder than her. Let's, speaking of the wilds, let's head it down to Eastern Ontario to our good friend Stan McRae, who, unbelievably, I don't know how he does it, because I go out and see things. Actually got out for riding my bike today. It dried up enough, got out for a bike, and I think I saw a couple crows, and I heard some meadow larks or something, some kind of bird out there. Well, meadow larks are the ones that do the broken wing things. See, that's why I don't see birds, because I don't know my birds like Stan does. But let's send it out to Stan McRae and his spotter Susie, and let's see what Stan's captured for us this week. Thanks so much, Stan. Great pictures. I love that Thomas the tugboat at the end there. And that's the real Thomas the tugboat, folks. It came up the St. Lawrence River once, I guess. And of course, Stan was there to catch it. I think that was actually Stan up on the bridge, and somebody else took that picture of Stan watching it go through. But Stan can correct me. But thanks again, Stan. Really appreciate that. And all the pictures you sent in, all the fantastic pictures, all those great mink and otter pictures you've been posting recently. Oh, man. Something to see. Next time I'm down there, Stan, we'll get out for a look, see, and you can show me some of these things that I never saw when I was there. Here's one of my favorite Fred Eaglesmith songs. It's called I'm Just Dreamin'. And it's such a beautiful song. I've played it. It's always been part of my repertoire for a long, long time. I'm sure I've probably played it on the show too. So. Maybe I should call her up, and even if she laughs at me, at least I would get to hear her voice. And maybe I could calm her down, and she'd ask me to come around and pick her up and take her out someplace. But I'm just dreaming. She said she's had enough of cowboy boots and pickup trucks, enough of checkered shirts and dark blue eyes, going back to be a rich man's wife. And I'm just dreaming. I shoulda never took up with her. I shoulda never had a girl who didn't know hay from straw. But when I fell into her eyes, it was like I'd found paradise, and I'd finally figured out where heaven was. Just dreaming. She said she's had enough cowboy boots and pickup trucks, enough of checkered shirts and dark blue eyes, going back to be a rich man's wife. And I'm just dreaming. And every time there's dust out on the road, I look up and I hope that she's coming back to me. Even though I already know she's gone for good, she told me so. I always think it just might be. Just dreaming. She said she's had enough of cowboy boots and pickup trucks, enough of checkered shirts and dark blue eyes, going back to be a rich man's wife. And I'm just dreaming. And I'm just dreaming. And I'm just dreaming. tune. Let's head it back over to the Beatles tribute room and see what our resident Dylan expert, Rob Dylan, has to say about, or has to play about, Fred Eaglesmith. How does it feel?
Well, hey everybody, it's Rob Dylan here. Good to see you again. Here for this Fred Eaglesmith special. Not sure what's so special about Fred Eaglesmith. Don't really know that much about him. You know, we certainly know Bob Dylan, I'll tell you that much. But a pretty good songwriter. Written some really good songs, actually. I went looking through his catalog, and wow, there are a lot to pick from there. And I was looking for one that would kind of fit my unique style of playing and, you know, kind of fit into the Dylan groove, so to speak. And I got this one. It's kind of a spooky one. And it's a good one. It's called Spookin' the Horses. It's about, you know, how things get a little scary when things change, I guess, is what it's about. But anyways, I'm going to give her a go here. Hope you enjoy it. It's called Spookin' the Horses. You're spooking the horses. They're wild and they're scared. With that bright colored makeup and those clothes that you wear. And I seen you dancing last night 'neath the trees. And you're spooking the horses, and you're scaring me. Where the road meets the highway, those bright city lights must have shone through your windshield and got into your eyes. I guess you thought that they'd set you free, but you're spooking the horses and you're scaring me. You're not wearing your hair tied back anymore, and you're wearing dresses like you've never before. And you're driving faster than I've ever seen. And you're spooking the horses and you're scaring me. I can hear the gears grinding where you make the turn, and up on the skyline those headlights just burn, and the horses go running, and my heart just screams. 'Cause you're spooking the horses and you're scaring me. You're spooking the horses and you're scaring me.
Hey, Neil, I was at the mall the other day and there was a power outage.
Hey, Willie,
That's terrible. What happened? I got stuck on the escalator for 3 hours.
Do you know Bigfoot is sometimes confused with Sasquatch? Yeti never complains.
Well, thanks for that, Rob Dylan. Great version of that song. Another one of my favorite Fred Eaglesmith songs. I have a bunch of them. Spookin' the Horses. Did a nice job with that. See some folks checking in. Peter down Long Sault area there. Peter, good to see you. And Ron Desoleil up in Kapuskasey, and one of our Tuesday Live The Wall comedy writers. Ron sends me in content for The Wall periodically, and certainly appreciate that. And you can send in content for The Wall too. Just send in your jokes, comments, funny stories, anniversaries, birthday greetings, whatever you'd like to include. We'd love to include it on The Wall. Just let us know, and we'll put it on there for you. Always looking for content. Otherwise, we just have to make it up along the way, and it tends to get into sort of dad humor area. I saw Sarah there too. Speaking of dads, my daughter's in there. It's nice to see you, Sarah. And thanks for watching tonight. Here's another song, Darling. Excuse me, I still got that cough going. Are you drinking too much? Darling, lately something's been missing when we go out at night. There's a fire in your eyes, but something is missing. It just doesn't burn as bright. You take my hand more than you used to, and I'm not sure that it's love. You seem to stumble more often these days, and darling, I keep holding you up. Even your friends say that you're out of touch. Oh, darling, are you drinking too much? Darling, lately I see you've been buying your cocktails 2 at a time, and when it's last call and your glass is empty, you've been finishing mine. You take my hand more than you used to, and I'm not sure that it's love. And you seem to stumble more often these days, and darling, I keep holding you up. Even your friends say that you're out of touch. Well, darling, are you drinking too much? To be the life of the party and not just the talk of the town. And you used to go out every night, and now you're afraid of the crowd. Even our friends say that you're out of touch. Darling, are you drinking too much? Darling, are you drinking too much? Darling, are you drinking too much? like guys who might drink a little. Let's send it out to Robbie O'Spoon in Dublin, Ontario, and see what the Irish fella's up to.
Oh, hello everybody out there in internet lands. Robbie O'Spoon here in Dublin, Ontario, just having a grand old time, swilling the pigs. And, well, not quite hilling potatoes yet, but getting ready for that too. But, Rob said we're doing this Fred Eaglesmith tribute show today, and I thought, well, who's Fred Eaglesmith? Never heard of the fella. But after I thought and looked at some of the songs, I thought, well, I guess we played some of those songs before in the show now, didn't we? And I kind of like his music. He writes about a lot of songs about farming. Not too many people writing about farming, but unfortunately, not a lot of songs he's written about swilling the pigs or anything like that. But can't hope for everything, I guess. But anyways, I like some of his songs, and I looked up a few of them. I found this one here. I thought, well, that's a pretty good one. I think it's called Oxford County. If he would have written one about Perth County, I would have sung that one because I'm here in Dublin on Perth County. But Oxford County is just a ways over here. It's just up here beside us a bit. Maybe not quite as many swine. Farming and pig in Perth County or in Oxford Counties or in Perth County, but still a pretty good farming county. So here's a good farming song called Oxford County. It's actually a love song, but it's got farming in it. If you're ever out upon old Highway 19 or down some old gravel road, lost in Oxford County, if you should meet a girl there with hair as gold as wheat, do me a favor then and say hello for me. And if the men are in the fields with their backs to the sun, doing work that looks like it could never get done, I tell them my heart's with them, and tell them that someday, if I ever come back, I'll be coming back to stay. Those old farmhouses rise out of the ground like monuments to the sky. The distant thunder and the rolling clouds make you think of days gone by. I once knew a girl there, she stole all me time. She lived in a great big house on the Oxford County line. Last night I sat around a fire with 10 other men, and I listened as they talked about what had happened to them. But when I told me story, they all just turned quiet. An owl flew, a whistle blew, and we listened to the night. Someone cleared his throat, reached out and touched my arm. He said, boy, I'm an old man and I've heard 1,000 yarns, but none have touched me heart like the one you just told me. And if I were you, I'd head on back to Oxford County. Those old farmhouses rise out of the ground like monuments to the sky. The distant thunder and the rolling clouds make you think of days gone by. I once knew a girl there, she took all me time. She lived in a great big house on the Oxford County line.
'Twas a time when I believed that home was where you stood. And if you couldn't be there, memories were just as good. But the cracked and faded photographs I keep inside me pack remind me time and time again I've got to go back. Those old farmhouses rise out of the ground like monuments to the sky. The distant thunder and the rolling clouds make you think of days gone by. I once knew a girl there, as she took all me time. She lived in a great big house on the Oxford County line. Yes, I once knew a girl there, she took all me time. She lived in a great big house on the Oxford County line.
Hey Dylan, after the show last week, I was only able to sing songs by Tony Bennett, Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra, and Bing Crosby. I didn't know what was happening, so I went to see my doctor.
What did your doctor say?
He told me I had the crooner virus. Well, one of the hog holler fellas was by the farm the other day and says to me, "Hey Robbie, how do you keep yourself such a fine specimen of manliness?" "Well," says I, "to keep me digestion, I have a pint of Guinness every day. If my blood pressure gets low, well, pass me a glass of red wine. If my blood pressure gets high, well, I take a wee dram of the whiskey. Well, if I feel cold coming on, well, I have me a tot of rum." Well, the fella just sort of looks at me in amazement and says, "Oh, do you ever just take a drink of water?" "No," says I, "never been that sick."
What a load of rubbish.
Well, thank you, Robbie. Lovely version of that song, Oxford County Line. I was hoping Robbie might do that one. It's a great tune, and appreciate that. And I saw Catherine checked in, a new viewer, at least new to me. Thanks for saying hello, Catherine. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. And everyone else out there who's enjoying the show, thanks for being here. Don't forget to share the show with your friends on your timeline on Facebook, if you can do that, or like it, subscribe on YouTube, all those things, so you can come back here and join us next week, because we get together every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and have our little hangout in my rec room with some tunes and a few laughs, a few jokes, as you can see. So we'd love to have you there again next week if you can make it. We're going to send it out to back to the Beatles tribute room to perhaps the greatest Neil Young tribute artist of our generation, Neil Old, and I thought I heard some clip clopping out there, so I'm thinking Lazy might be here tonight too.
Well, hi everybody, it's Neil Old here again. Good to see ya. And here for this Fred Eaglesmith tribute. You know, I like Fred Eaglesmith, great songwriter, great Canadian songwriter, and real hard-working rock and roll fella. And guess we got somebody here that you haven't seen for a while. Look who's here. That's right, it's Lazy Horse here came out for this Fred Eaglesmith special. Lazy, do you know Fred Eaglesmith? Well, I wasn't sure whether horses would know him or not, but I guess that Spookin' the Horses song and all those farming songs he does, that probably would have the horses kind of in his in his barn, so to speak. So I'm glad you like him, Lazy. So why don't you kick this one off? It's a song about something you don't see much anymore in the front of an old pickup truck. Back when pickup trucks only had one set of seats and they only had one big seat in there, a big bench seat. And that's what this song's called, Bench Seat. So kick it off, Lazy. Give me a count in there. A little rock and roll will do. To them little sports jobs with a console in between. Full face
fancy headrest, a pocket for your cold cream. I know you're used to staring at the window, watching the world go by. Well, it's a different kind of automobile, it's a different kind of ride. It's got a bench seat, baby. It's got a bench seat, baby. It's got a bench seat, baby. You don't have to sit over there. Well, I know you're used to them little dance tunes cranking out of the player. Well, here's a lesson in country and western. It's gonna drive you crazy. So undo your jacket, lay back your head. Won't you relax just a little? And unless you got somebody else coming, slide over into the middle. It's got a bench seat, baby. It's got a bench seat, baby. It's got a bench seat, baby, and you don't have to sit over there. Well, it's 5 feet from inseam to inseam. I had a custom corduroyed, and there's no reason why it needs to recline. It was made for a girl and a boy. It's got a bench seat, baby. It's got a bench seat, baby. It's got a bench seat, baby, and you don't have to sit over there. It's got a bench seat, baby, you don't have to sit over there.
Hey, Willie, did you know I wasn't able to finish me schooling when I was a wee lad?
Well, what kept you from graduating, Robbie?
Going to class. When I first got into music, I wanted to be a bass player.
Oh.
I thought they looked so cool and laid back on stage, so I signed up for some bass guitar lessons. The first week, the instructor showed me the top E string and sent me home to practice. I came back the next week and he showed me the second string, A, and sent me home to practice, but I never went back.
What?
Couple months later, I ran into the instructor walking down the street and he said, "Neil, how come you never came back for your third lesson?" "Well," I said, "after those first 2 lessons, I've been so busy playing gigs that I just haven't had the time."
Thanks, Neil. Nice story there at the end, and also enjoyed that rendition of Bench Seat. Haven't heard that for a while. Haven't seen a bench seat for a while, but certainly they were popular back in the day. Everybody had a bench seat. You could fit 3 in the front seat of the car or the pickup truck. Sometimes even more than 3 back pre-seatbelt days. But it was a great tune. Appreciate that, Neil. I just sort of looking over the Beatles tribute room. I see Willy's back in there. He's sort of signaling to me. He wants me to send the camera over there again. So I'm not sure what's going on here, but I'm going to send it back over to the Beatles tribute room and see what Willy's up to. Well, hey, y'all. Willy here again. I usually don't go back for a second song, but with this Fred Eaglesmith special, I want to make sure we got this one in because it's one of my all-time favorite Fred Eaglesmith songs. And it's about an old store that was shut down. And I think it's kind of a good one. I'm going to need some help to get this one done, so I'm going to ask some of my fellas here to give me a hand with this one. So let's go, boys. Let's give her a go. Well, things always cost a little more when you buy them at the Sweeberg store. But the drive into town made it the same, so it didn't matter anyway. You could wake him up if your tank was on empty. They wouldn't be happy, but they'd fill it up anyways. I guess that's just the way things go. The Sweeberg General Store is closed. Better fill her up on your way home. It's a sign of the times, I suppose. Up and down the concessions, everybody knows. The Sweetburg General Store is closed. Well, town is a half an hour's drive, and you're lucky to get out of there alive. And then there's something you forgot, and then half the day is shot. And it ought to be a law, it ought to be a crime. That's what they're saying on the 19th line. We took it for granted, how were we to know? The Sweetburg General Store is closed. Better fill her up on your way home. It's a sign of the times, I suppose. Up and down the concessions, everybody knows. The Sweetburg General Store is closed. Pa says it's been there for 70 years, and it used to be an outlet for Simpson Sears. Ma says she bought her wedding dress there, and they threw in the flowers that she wore in her hair. Well, they closed it once before back in 37, but they opened it again at the end of the Depression. I guess these times are just like those. The Sweetburg General Store is closed. Better fill her up on your way home. It's a sign of the times, I suppose. Up and down the concessions, everybody knows. The Sweetburg General Store is closed. The Sweetburg General Store is closed. Better fill her up on your way home. Up and down the concessions, everybody knows. The Sweetburg General thought it would never. The Sweetburg General Store is closed. Well, nice cover there, boys, of the Sweetburg General Store. Another great Fred Eaglesmith song from back in the day when he's doing a little bit more bluegrassy type stuff. For those who don't know where Sweetburg is, it's just off the 401, just down towards Woodstock Way. So if you're down that way, you can swing into Sweetburg, but I think the general store is still closed. So if you need something, you better pick it up before you head back to Sweetburg. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed our Fred Eaglesmith tribute tonight. Make sure you check out Fred's music and watch for him coming to a Legion Hall or a community center near you sometime. And I'd like to thank everyone who participated in tonight's show. Stan McRae, and of course the Tuesday Live Rec Room renowned cast, Rob Dylan, Neil Old, Robbie O'Spoon, and cousin Willy Witherspoon. Of course, I can't forget Lazy Horse, who showed up tonight as well. Appreciate everyone who supports the show as a patron, contributing to our virtual tip jar, or just joining in the Tuesday Live audience. Thank you for being here. Also, thank you to my executive producer, Carol, who helps with everything around here and keeps me on the straight and narrow, or sort of anyways. And the talented Tuesday Live animation department who helped put the wall together, but take no responsibility for the jokes. You can join in the fun by sending in your jokes, birthday, anniversary announcements, stories, poems, or anything else you'd like to share on the wall. Next week, I think maybe we'll do a show to welcome spring with Easter coming up and everything. And if you have any favorite spring kind of reawakening songs, let us know. We'd love to give them a shot. Come share the love at the after party on Zoom. We always have a welcoming group. I know Dave, who watches over on YouTube, is there quite often. I always have a nice chat with Dave. And Jim and Lynn out in Vancouver Island often show up, although I heard Lynn, I think she's doing djembe drumming on Tuesday nights now. She told us last week she might not be here, which is a little sad for us not having Lynn at the Zoom after party, but I'm sure she's getting some drumming in. And I asked her, I said, Lynn, why don't you do a little djembe drumming on the show sometime? So we might have that to look forward to sometime as well. And my mom's usually there too on the Zoom after party, so pop in and see my mom. She'd love to see you. Until next time, let's let's just keep on rocking it out, because I've got I saw there are a couple of requests there. Two of them from my daughters mentioned the song as one of their favorite songs, another Fred Eaglesmith song. That's also one of my favorites too. A bit of a rocking one to end the show, but what the heck, let's send it off on a hot note and have a great week. Be safe out there, folks. Be careful, and look out for mighty big cars when you're out on the road. Down on the corner, up on the avenue, people pointing, calling out after you. Hands on their hips, their eyes get wider. They can't believe the thing you're driving. 28 feet from bumper to bumper, last of the sweet old time gas guzzlers. Hard to drive, harder to park, but when you do, somebody remarks, that's a mighty big car. That's a mighty big car. That's a mighty big car. Elvis had one and so did Hank. They don't look like money, they look like the bank. Ride like a dream, go like a rocket, makes a scene every time you stop. But that's a mighty big car. That's a mighty big car. That's a mighty big car. Thick as mason jars. Everybody says that it looks like Mars, shinier than a country star. Nothing ever looked as good in your front yard. Curvy windshields and tinted mirrors, grill looks like a cafe sign, brighter than an aluminum trailer, and the white walls will drive you out of your mind. That's a mighty big car. 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 Thanks for watching tonight, folks. Come to the after party, or we'll see you next week. Don't forget to send me your spring songs and your jokes and your birthdays and anniversaries. See you next week.